Michael Jordan was driving his fancy black car down a quiet street. It was very late at night. The houses were all dark because everyone was asleep. The car was smooth and quiet. It looked different from all the other cars in the neighborhood. Michael was driving very slowly. He was looking at the numbers on the houses. He was not lost. He knew where he was going, but he was driving so slow that someone noticed. In a police car parked under a big tree, a young police officer named Miller saw the car. He told his partner, "Sergeant, look at that car. It has driven around the block 3 times. It's moving too slow." Sergeant Davis was an older officer. He had been a policeman for a long time. He looked at the fancy car. He thought it was strange too. He thought maybe a kid was driving his dad's car, but the car was moving too carefully. It looked like someone was looking for a house to rob. Officer Miller called on the police radio to check the car's license plate. The person on the radio said the car belonged to a company that drives famous people around. This made the police even more curious. Why was a car for famous people driving so slowly in their small town? "Okay, let's go check it out," said Sergeant Davis. He turned on the police car's flashing red and blue lights. The street suddenly lit up. The fancy black car pulled over to the side of the road right away. It did not try to speed away. It was a very calm stop. This was also strange. "I'll go to the driver's side," Sergeant Davis told his partner. "You stand back and watch." The 2 officers walked carefully to the car. The car's windows were very dark. They could not see who was inside. Sergeant Davis tapped on the driver's window. "Police, please roll down your window," he said. The window went down smoothly. The cool night air went into the car. The car smelled like leather and fresh bread. Sergeant Davis leaned down to look inside. He was ready for anything, but he was not ready for what he saw. The man driving the car was very famous. He was tall and had a shaved head. The flashing lights bounced off his head. The sergeant had seen this face on TV and in magazines. His own son had a poster of this man on his bedroom wall. It was Michael Jordan. For a moment, the police officer could not speak. He was too surprised. His partner, Officer Miller, was surprised too. This was not a bad guy. This was a hero to many people. The big question was, what was he doing here? Why was he driving so slowly in their quiet town at 2 in the morning? The sergeant thought something must be wrong. Maybe he needed help. He had to find out, and he had a feeling the answer would be a big surprise. It would change everything for everyone who was there that night. "Can I see your license and registration, please?" Sergeant Davis said. His voice was shaky. He was so used to saying these words that they just came out. Michael Jordan nodded. He moved slowly to open the glove box. He was very calm. Officer Miller looked in the back of the car with his flashlight. He was very confused by what he saw. The back seat was not empty. It was filled with paper grocery bags. The bags were full of food like fruit, cereal, milk, and bread. On the front passenger seat were bags from a toy store. They were filled with toys and games. There were also 3 new school backpacks. Officer Miller walked over to his partner. "Sarge," he whispered, "you have to see what's in this car." Sergeant Davis took the license from the famous basketball player. The name was right. The address was for a huge house in a rich town far away. Nothing made sense. The sergeant walked to the back of the car and looked inside. It was just as Officer Miller said. The car was filled with food and things for kids. It looked like a parent was getting ready for a big party. There were packages of socks, new shoes, and storybooks. "Sir," Sergeant Davis said, walking back to the window. His voice was not mean anymore. It was just confused. "Can you tell me what you are doing here tonight?" Michael Jordan looked at the 2 police officers. He let out a long, tired sigh. "I know this looks strange," he said. He pointed his head toward a small house a few doors down. It was a simple house. The paint was peeling a little bit. "I was just making a delivery," he said. The police officers looked at each other. A delivery? At 2 in the morning? It was a very strange story. A delivery of what? Officer Miller asked. He still did not believe him. "Food, school supplies, and some toys," Michael said. "Why are you doing it so late?" Sergeant Davis asked. Michael was quiet for a second. He was thinking about what to say. "The man who lives in that house is a very proud man," he said softly. "He would never take anything from me if he knew I was giving it to him." He could see the police still had questions, so he started to tell them the whole story. "It started many years ago," he said. "At the old basketball stadium, there was a security guard named Arthur Bellamy. He was an older, quiet man. He worked late at night after the games were over and all the fans went home. As he talked, it was like they were all back in time. He was not a famous star anymore. He was just a young player who stayed late to practice." He told them about Arthur, the kind guard who always had a smile. Arthur would let him sneak into the gym to practice on days off. He would pretend he did not see him. Michael Jordan told the two police officers more about his old friend. "Arthur was more than just a guard," he said. "He was always there for me. When my team lost a big game, I would be sad. Arthur would come by while he was sweeping the floor. He would say something nice, like, 'You'll win the next one,' or 'Keep working hard.' It was a small thing, but it made me feel better." He said that Arthur never asked for free tickets or a picture with him. They were just friends. Arthur respected him, and he respected Arthur. "He used to show me a picture of his daughter," Michael said with a smile. "She was a little girl. He kept the picture in his wallet. He was so proud of her. He worked all those long nights just for her. He wanted her to have a good life." Time went by. Michael won many games and became very famous. The old stadium was torn down. He got busy with his life and his family. He forgot about Arthur. It had been many years since he had thought about the kind security guard. Then, about a month ago, he went on, "I was reading a story online. It was a story about an old man in this town. He was raising his 3 grandchildren all by himself." Michael stopped talking for a moment. The man's name was Arthur Bellamy. The story he read was very sad. Arthur's daughter, the little girl in the picture, had grown up and had a family, but she and her husband died in a car crash. So Arthur, who was now in his 70s, had to take care of their 3 kids. The story said that Arthur did not have much money. He was struggling to buy food and clothes for the children. The house, which was the same one they were parked in front of, was too small for them. But Arthur was doing his best because he loved his grandkids very much. Sergeant Davis and Officer Miller listened to the story. They were not police officers questioning a driver anymore. They were just 2 men hearing a story about kindness. They understood now. Michael Jordan was not doing anything wrong. He was doing something very, very right. He was doing a secret act of kindness for his old friend. When Michael read the story about Arthur, he knew he had to help. He felt bad that he had not stayed in touch. He wanted to do something right away. "My first idea was to just give him money," Michael told the officers. "A lot of money, enough to fix all his problems." So he had one of his helpers find Arthur's address. He sent a person from his charity to Arthur's house with a big check. The person told Arthur that the money was a gift from a secret helper, but Arthur said no. He told my helper, "Thank you, but we do not take charity. We will be okay on our own," Michael said. He shook his head and smiled. That's the kind of man he is. He is very proud. Because Arthur said no, Michael had to think of a new plan. He knew he could not just give him money. He had to help in a way that would not hurt Arthur's feelings. He had to help in a secret way. "So I made a new plan," he said. "I decided to be his secret helper. I would not give him money. I would just give him the things he needed." He knew it was a strange idea. He could have asked his assistants to do it, but he wanted to do it himself. It felt more personal. It was his way of saying thank you for all the times Arthur was kind to him at the stadium. His first secret delivery was a week ago. He went to the store and bought lots of food. He filled up his car. Then he drove to Arthur's neighborhood late at night. He parked his car down the street. He carried the heavy bags to Arthur's front porch. He was very quiet. He did not want anyone to see him. He put all the bags down, rang the doorbell one time, and then ran back to his car. The next day, he asked a friend to drive by the house. The food was gone. The plan had worked. He felt happy. He had helped his friend without him knowing. But he knew that food was not the only thing the family needed. Over the next few weeks, Michael's secret trips became a normal thing for him. He planned each trip very carefully. He thought about what the three children would need. He went to a store and bought clothes for them. He bought new shoes for them to wear to school. He went to a bookstore and picked out special books for each child. He knew from the news story that Arthur had trouble helping the kids with their homework, so he bought a set of encyclopedias and other books to help them learn. The hardest part was buying the toys, Michael told the police with a small smile. I haven't bought toys for young kids in a long time. I stood in the toy store for an hour trying to pick the right ones. He chose a big box of building blocks, a science kit, and lots of art supplies. He hoped the kids would like them. Each trip was a secret mission. He drove a different way each time. He always waited until it was very, very late. He wanted to be sure that everyone in the neighborhood was asleep. Tonight was going to be his biggest delivery. He had more food. He also had new backpacks for school. He filled them with notebooks, pencils, and crayons. He bought a new basketball and a new doll. He even bought a big, comfortable chair for Arthur. His plan was to leave it on the porch and say it was a mistake from a furniture store. He was driving around the block very slowly because he was waiting for the last light in a neighbor's house to turn off. He did not want anyone to see him. That is when the police car pulled up behind him. The flashing lights almost ruined his secret plan. I was just waiting for the right time to drop off the stuff, he said. He looked at the two police officers. So that is what I was doing here. That is why I was driving suspiciously. Sergeant Davis and Officer Miller were quiet. The story was amazing. They believed him. It all made sense now. The slow driving, the late hour, the car full of gifts. They were seeing a famous man do a very kind and secret thing. All the tension was gone. They did not see a suspect. They saw a hero. Sergeant Davis spoke first. He looked at Michael Jordan. Then he looked at the small, dark house down the street. He understood everything. He saw the proud old man inside, who was trying his best for his grandkids, and he saw the famous star outside, trying to help in a secret way. My dad was like that, Sergeant Davis said. His voice was soft. He lost his job when I was young. My brother and I tried to give him money, but he would never take it. He was too proud. The older police officer looked like he was remembering something from long ago. We had to do the same thing you are doing. We would leave food on his porch. We had to find secret ways to help him. He looked back at Michael. He understood him now. A man's pride is a strong thing, he said. It is good that you respect that. Officer Miller, the younger policeman, was touched by the story. At first he was suspicious. Now he felt humbled. He thought about his own two kids at home. He understood wanting to give children everything they need. The rules said that he should write a police report about the traffic stop. But this was not a normal traffic stop. Writing a report would tell everyone Michael's secret. It would turn a kind act into a police matter. Sergeant Davis made a choice. He reached up and turned off the small camera on his uniform. He looked at Officer Miller, and Miller turned his camera off too. I don't think we need to write a report about this, Sergeant Davis said. It looks like you were just on your way home. Then he said something that surprised everyone. But you have a lot of things to carry. It looks like you could use some help. Michael looked surprised. You would help me? It is late and no one is around, Sergeant Davis said with a shrug. And our job is to help people. Also, he added with a smile, it is not every day we get to help Michael Jordan on a secret mission. Officer Miller smiled too. I'll help, he said. So the famous basketball player and the two police officers became a team. They had a job to do. They worked together in the quiet night to do something good for a family that needed it. At that moment, it did not matter that one was famous and the others were police. They were just three men helping a friend. The three men worked together as a team in the dark. Sergeant Davis gave quiet directions. Miller, you take the bags from the back. I'll get the ones on the floor. Mr. Jordan, you get the backpacks and toys. They made a quiet line from the car to the house. They carried the bags of food, the school supplies, and the new toys. They put everything on the front porch of Arthur's house. The only sounds were the rustling of paper bags and their quiet footsteps. Michael Jordan, who was used to thousands of fans cheering for him, moved silently. He placed the backpacks by the door very gently. Officer Miller, who had been suspicious before, now worked with a smile. He made sure all the food was arranged nicely. Sergeant Davis carried the box with the new basketball. They made many trips. It was a strange thing to see. 2 policemen and a famous star working together in the middle of the night. There were no cameras to take pictures of them. It was a truly kind act that no one else would see. When the car was empty, they stood on the sidewalk and looked at the porch. It was full of gifts. It was a sign that someone cared very much about the family inside. Michael took a small white envelope out of his pocket. "What's that?" Officer Miller asked. "It's a note," Michael said. "It says all this stuff is from a new grocery store and a charity. It's a story to explain where it all came from." He walked up to the porch and put the note in one of the bags. He did not ring the doorbell. He wanted the family to find it in the morning. He wanted it to feel like magic. They all walked back to their cars. The flashing police lights were off now. "Thank you, officers," Michael said. "I could not have done this without you, and thank you for understanding." "You don't need to thank us," Sergeant Davis said. He shook Michael's hand. "It was an honor, and if you ever need to make another late-night delivery, you can call me. We will make sure no one bothers you." Officer Miller shook his hand next. He still looked like he could not believe what had happened. "I will never forget this night," he said. "My son is going to think this is the coolest story ever." As Michael got into his car, the 2 officers went back to theirs. They sat for a moment in the quiet. They had bent the rules tonight, but they did it for a good reason. They chose to be kind instead of just following the rules. They knew they had done the right thing. As Michael Jordan drove home, he felt very grateful. The police officers had helped him and understood him. He knew that he had been very lucky. Another police officer might have ruined his secret, but as he drove, he started to think. He realized that his secret plan was not good enough. Leaving food on the porch was a nice thing to do, but it was not a real solution. It was like putting a small bandage on a very big problem. What would happen if he was not there to bring food? Arthur and his grandchildren needed more than just secret deliveries. They needed a safe and comfortable life. They needed a real plan that would help them for a long time. The police officer's story about his own proud father made Michael think hard. He knew he had to help Arthur in a way that made him feel respected, not like a charity case. He needed a bigger and better plan. By the time he got home, the sun was starting to come up. He sat in his car in his driveway and watched the sky get lighter. He felt like it was a new beginning. He knew what he had to do. He pulled out his phone and made a call. He woke up his financial advisor. "I need you to do something for me," Michael said. His voice was strong. "I need you to find the best builders in Arthur Bellamy's town and find me a real estate agent there." His next call was to his lawyer. "I want to set up 3 special bank accounts for Arthur's grandkids," he said. "I want to put enough money in them to pay for their school all the way through college." He spent the next hour in his car making more calls. He was starting a new, much bigger plan. The secret deliveries were a good start, but now he was going to fix the problem for good. The traffic stop had been a good thing. It made him see that he needed to do more. He was going to build a new future for his old friend Arthur, the man who had been so kind to him all those years ago. The new plan happened very fast. Michael's team bought the house right next door to Arthur's house. They used a secret company name so no one would know it was them. They needed the house next door to help with their big surprise. Next, they needed Arthur and his family to leave their house for a week. So Michael's team made up a fake contest. They sent a letter to Arthur saying he had won a free trip to a big theme park. Arthur was so happy for his grandkids that he said yes. As soon as Arthur and the children left for their trip, a lot of work vans came to their street. A whole team of workers went into the small house. Their job was to fix the entire house in only 7 days. They worked day and night. They put on a new roof. They painted the whole house. They put in new pipes and new electrical wires. Inside, they took down some walls to make the rooms bigger. They put in a brand new kitchen with new appliances. They fixed up the bathroom and even added a second one. They decorated the children's rooms with new beds, desks, and lots of books and toys. For Arthur, they made a special bedroom with his own private bathroom. They also fixed up the yard. They planted a beautiful new garden. They built a new playground in the backyard for the kids. They put a nice bench in the garden where Arthur could sit and watch them play. But the most important part of the plan was the story they would tell Arthur. Michael knew that Arthur would not accept a brand new house as a gift, so he made up a clever story. They would tell Arthur that he was on a new TV show called Hometown Heroes. The show was about good people in a town who helped others. They would say that his neighbors told the show all about his kindness, so the show chose to fix up his house as a reward. This story would let Arthur feel proud, not embarrassed. There was one last part of the plan. It was for Officer Miller, the young policeman. Michael learned that Officer Miller was trying to save money to buy a house for his family, so Michael offered him a new job as the head of security for his charity. The job paid more money and had better hours. It was a big opportunity for the young officer. It was Michael's way of saying thank you for his kindness and for keeping his secret. The day Arthur and his family came home from their trip, the whole street was filled with excitement. A camera crew was there to pretend they were filming the TV show. All the neighbors came out to be part of the surprise. When the car with Arthur and his grandkids drove up, the kids were the first to see the house. "Grandpa, look," yelled the little girl. "Our house is painted a new color." Arthur could not believe his eyes. His old house looked brand new. It was beautiful. A man who pretended to be a TV producer walked up to them. "Welcome home, Mr. Bellamy," he said with a big smile, "and welcome to the show Hometown Heroes." Arthur and his grandkids were led to their new front door. The kids were so excited. They ran to the backyard to play on their new playground. The producer explained that all his neighbors had told the show what a wonderful man he was. He said the new house was a gift from the whole community to thank him for his kindness. Arthur started to cry. He was so happy. This was not charity. This was an honor. When he walked inside, he was even more amazed. The house was bright and beautiful. It was filled with new furniture and everything they could ever need. In the living room, the TV was on. A video message was playing. It was from Michael Jordan. "Hello, Arthur," Michael's voice said. "It has been a long time. I heard about how you are taking care of your grandkids. You have always been a hero, even back at the old stadium. You were my hero." Michael told the story of how Arthur was always kind to him. "You taught me that being a good person is the most important thing," Michael said. "This is not a gift, Arthur. It's my way of saying thank you for everything you did for me. It's my turn to open a door for you." Arthur sat down in a new chair. He cried happy tears. His grandkids hugged him. The secret was out, but it was okay. He felt loved and respected. Later that day, a fancy black car pulled up. Michael Jordan got out. He was not a secret helper anymore. He was an old friend coming to visit. Arthur opened the door. The two men looked at each other and smiled. "You did not have to do all this," Arthur said. "Yes, I did," Michael said. "You once told me that hard work pays off." The two friends hugged. It showed that the best gifts are the ones that come from the heart. If you liked this story about friendship and kindness, please hit the like button and subscribe for more great stories. We would love to know where you are watching from, so leave a comment and tell us what your favorite part of the story was. To see another story that will make you smile, click on the video on your screen right now. You will be glad you did.